Alright, so I'm just finishing up my latest necklace before beginning to work on a leather cuff again. Then I'm going to put a saddle stitch on this, and I thought it'd be fun to show. So let's go this a little bit. There we go. So I love the stones that I've put into these. These are going to be great spring and summer long necklaces that have hemp, or this one's polished cotton and top dyed string. And I just need to finish putting the findings on it really quick. So I use silver plated jump rings. I used really strong glue to get those strings into these because I don't ever want them to come out. Okay, and then we'll do the bigger one. There we go. That makes it easier to latch. And then I'm just taking a smaller jump ring, putting my clasp, my lobster claw. It's kind of a decorative lobster claw clasp. And get that on here, maybe. You always twist away or towards, but never apart with a jump ring. I don't like that one. So I'm going to get another one. I love these. These are like Tic Tac box style, and they are terrific for findings. They come in these cases. I got them from a friend. So, but I would imagine you can order those online. I have not seen them in the stores that I frequent. But they are terrific for these little bitty findings. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put the lobster claw on. Let's put the lobster claw on. There's a perfect little jump ring. And you just move them back and forth until it kind of locks in. The jump ring has a little bit of a clip to it. And voila. My latest necklace that is shortened by adding knots. I got this idea from a necklace that my mother gave me that she wore back in the 70s. And then she gave it to me, and it's one of my favorite things is a boho heart. And I just simply tie a knot. With it unclasped. And that even adds like a kind of a bead look to it. Let's add another one. It's beautiful with the colors. I'm not sure if you can see those as well, but it just adds more texture. I love texture in all the jewelry that I create. And let's put this approximately the same spot over here. There we go, just tightening down the knot. I don't know why I can't get that red one tightened down. Come on now. Pliers are helpful when you want to loosen anything. There it is. And one more over here. And voila. I think that turned out really pretty. That will be auctioned off at the next auction. Along with this one that has the Worry sea glass stones, Worry sea glass in the center of a beautiful round wooden bead, hollow bead. I've got seed beads in this. I love the way this turned out. It's another long one. I love both of these. And it's got the hemp string and the different colored tie-dye synthetic string with the hemp, the stones, round stones, and then this part's on wire, just like this part's on wire on this one, with the different jasmine. Love these. They're going to look great with a long sundress for somebody. All right, let's put those aside. And move these out of the way. My lovely workspace, which I do love. It works really well for me. I've got granite and this is a little cutting board that just is really helpful because it moves around. And my tools go in a little bucket. It's kind of messy, but it works for me. Some different things I use for the leather. Got a toolbox behind me with all that in it too. And one of the things, oh, we're gonna not use this. One of the things that's really awesome that I found at a craft store, not a craft store, a consignment store, is this amazing tool. What is it, anvil? Tightening anvil, I guess? I don't know what you call it. But it's really super, super heavy. This keeps it from sliding too much. And I'm able to put my already dyed and cut, I've burnished and smoothed out the ends of the leather here. And it just goes, I put these little cushions in it because I don't want to mess it up. And it goes in here for sewing the saddle stitching. And it helps just, it's a third hand because it's so heavy. It's awesome. It's really old. I don't know how old though. Made by Stanley, but I really like it. It's not exactly made for this, but it works for me. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to create a indented border, right just around it, which is where the stitches are, the holes are going to be punched in. And it is going to get loud, so once we do that, I'll warn you first, then you can turn the volume down if you're watching. And let's see if I can get that a little better. Let's go that way. Come back. This thing gets a mind of its own. Okay. So I'm just going in my toolbox. It has all leather making tools and things in it. And I am grabbing a bow compass that architects use. And I've got it set pretty small. You just round these out and it moves it. In and out. Making it smaller. Okay. That looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna, this longer piece here works as a guideline for the pencil part. And I'm just making a little imprint border. And that's going to be my guideline for punching the holes in. So, one of the ways I keep my tools is I put them back in the place where I got them from, or else I'll never find them again. There is a rhyme and a reason to this madness that you're seeing that looks like a disaster probably to anybody else but me. Okay, now I have hole punches. This is a two-prong hole punch. and a 6-prong hole punch. These seem to be all I need to get what the holes for sewing through. Makes it easier with leather. So this is where it's going to get a little louder. I'm going to use my chopping block too. I wasn't quite done with that. So I used the granite. This piece was amazing. I needed a piece of marble. I went into a countertop place up in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and I said, "Do you have a little piece of marble that you could sell me?" And he said, "Hold on a minute." And he went in the back and came out with this giant slab of granite and gave it to me for free. And I was like, "Wow, that is amazing. Thank you." Okay, so I'm going to start with the ends and the 2-prong, and I want to go right to the center. This is 11 or it's 1 and 4/8 of an inch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 meters, I guess they are. So I want to go to right at 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 meters. And that's where I want that first hole to be, right in the center. Now here's where it's going to get loud. And the way I know that it's gone all the way through is because it's gone into my board, which is why I have all the holes in my board. Probably not great for the tool, but it works for me. I put this 1 prong right back into that center hole again and go to the other side. Now I've got 3 holes. Again, I go into the last hole that I made and out to the corner of my border on a slight angle. And the same on the other side. Okay, for any who are just joining me, I create jewelry that I sell, and it helps to keep my YouTube and Rumble, Glory Be Freedom media going, my independent media, because we all have to have sustainable income. And so we have live auctions where I auction these off when they're finished. I've been making and selling jewelry for years, but this has just been an amazing platform to help keep the freedom mission rolling with Glory Be Freedom. Okay, and I just put the first prong in the last hole. This is super loud. You may want to turn your volume down if you're watching. Sometimes I pick it up to make sure I can see light through them. Knowing that they went all the way through. I'm going to do this all the way around. I would speed up the video for this part, except I don't know how. Maybe I'll get a friend to help me with that. Okay, so we've got one end and one side down. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to come back to where I started, because I really want it to line up. I want the holes to line up. It looks cleaner. Hopefully we're going to be doing, hopefully I can get Sherry to help me, Sapphire Patriot, and we can do a auction Friday. I was thinking Friday or Saturday of this week, so hopefully, well, definitely one's coming up soon, for sure. Making a lot of new unique pieces. And with the strike I got on YouTube, my YouTube channel was taken down for a week. It'll be back up this Thursday. Thank goodness. I've missed out on making any income this month, so because we haven't had a auction or anything, so looking forward to that being back up Thursday. Oh, that didn't quite match up. Alright, so I'm going to move back to the 2-prong tool. Start off on this last hole here. I'm on a slight angle because I rounded the ends of this leather just a little bit when I cut it. We're almost done with the hole punching for our stitches. Let's see if I can use this one. Just about, but not quite. So let's use the 2-punch hole. It's just a matter sometimes of just having the right tool for what you need, and it's quite an investment to get into all this jewelry making. You can start off small though, and they do make small kits, which I would suggest to anybody who is new and wants to get into making their own. But this has been years and years of accumulating lots of different tools, because a lot goes into these. All right, that's not perfect, but we're gonna have a couple of stitches close together there. That usually happens to me. Nothing I do is perfect, I can tell you that. But that's the nature of handmade, and I love handmade. So we have all of our holes. I don't know if those are turning up real well, but all of our hole punches for our border saddle stitching, which we're going to move into now as soon as I put these tools up. Okay, so I already took the wax sinew threading. This one happens to be dyed turquoise, which I thought would be great for video. That's why we're doing a video on this one, because it'll show up. But I've already put the needles on. They are leather needles, and trying to cut corners on that is not going to work. This is the way the thread came. String. And so I've already got them threaded up. It's one long piece on 2 needles. And it's really long, because what you don't want to do is wind up having to add more string. So here's the needles, and this string just keeps going and going and going, and it is still attached. So it's one long string, 2 needles, leather stitching needles. Okay, we're going to move our resin hammer, which is very important for what I just did, and some other work working with why can't I think of the name of these? Rivets. Working with rivets, I found that does not seem to be anything else other than a resin hammer that helps me get these locked in the way I need to. I'll show you some of that in a little bit. So let's move the cutting board again. Move over our handy Stanley, whatever this thing is, vise. Is it a vise? I think it's a vise. I'm going to put this in with the holes, the right side facing right, and I'm leaving it up to the top. Remember, I put in these little spongy blocks that I cut just to keep it from getting hurt, and then I'm going to tighten it down. Not too tight, but it's just in there. Securely. And we're going to start by untangling. They actually make wooden devices that do this. Come up just a little bit. Okay. Wooden that stand taller and are better made for what we're doing here for stitching leather. But I don't have one, and I'm always, having to save up to buy the next thing. And so when I saw this for $40, I was like, that'll work. And I like it for other things too that I make. So somehow I've tied this. Give me just a moment. Because it's wax, it's really kind of sticky. In the way wax is sticky. Okay. So I want to begin by inserting one of the needles. I really don't want to be that close to the end. I come down like an inch or an inch and a half or so from the end of it. Ends are more noticeable than the middle, but the very center I don't want to have starting strings or ending strings, because that's where our decorative pieces go in the middle. So this is an out of the way place in case there's just any kind of slight difference, like where I had those 2 holes a little bit closer together. So there's a rhyme and a reason for how I did those, put those prongs. All right, so I'm just going to pull this through, and it's really difficult to work with at first but the wax winds up flattening out as you go. I'm pulling this through to the center. Put my needles together. And because I want my two strings to be the same length, as close as possible. All right, that's pretty darn close. So I have begun, just by doing that, I've begun my stitching. This is the front of my piece. This is the back of my piece. I'm going to first go into that next hole from the back to the front. I did not pull it all the way through. I'm bringing the string down, making sure that I insert from the front to the back over that first string. Okay. Now I can pull these through. Making sure that front to the back string stays on top. It makes for cleaner looking stitching because there's a very slight angle to this saddle stitch. And there's our first stitch. And I can't seem to zoom in. Can't zoom in. Okay. There we go. So now starting with the back, come to the front. I don't have to pull it all the way through yet. Take this front needle from the front to the back, making sure it's over that first string. And then I pull it through again. That's the reason why this is not totally ideal, because the string's gonna get caught on it, but it works for me for now. It was a cheaper alternative. Okay, so we've got 2 stitches now. And I'm gonna keep doing this all the way around. Do a couple more, and then I'll end this video and start another one when it comes to finishing my saddle stitching, and we'll put in the turquoise rivets. I believe this one I'm going to do purple, because purple is Recovery Month color, and someone had requested that I make some more of the recovery bracelets and jewelry to auction off. And purple is Recovery Month for people recovering from substance use disorder. So I think that's going to look amazing with that turquoise for spring and summer. Bringing that back string to the front. And keeping that front string over the back string. I don't know if you can tell that they're kind of on a slant, pointing up a little bit, which is why you want to be consistent in which string's coming through the leather on the bottom and which string's coming through the leather on the top. This one's coming through the leather on the top. But you can see a lot of work goes into each one of these cuffs, whether you're starting with upcycled leather or not. There's a lot of work that goes into making these. But I love doing this. You know, you just kind of find your artistic mediums that you enjoy working with, and I enjoy working with this leather. The first time I ever worked with it was in summer camp, and sometimes you got to make that hole a little bigger. And we would leather punch with all the different stamps. Oh, that was fun. And then dye the leather. That was great. Make a belt or a wallet for your dad, or some moccasins. I didn't get to make moccasins, but I've got a moccasin. I've got a moccasin template, because also one of the things that I build up is self-sustaining gear. And one of the things that you cannot really go without is footwear. So I have a moccasin template. I have not made any yet, but I will. All I'm doing is I'm just punching through the hole that I stamped, just because I can't see where it is at all. I got the light in front of me and not behind me. Beautiful day out, but it's windy. Okay. And you can see the direction that it's going in. I'll go ahead and take it out and show you. Just loosen my lathe or my vise, and nice clean stitches, if I do say so myself. So I'm going to finish stitching this, and in the next video we'll be finishing up the stitching and adding the decorative rivets. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you.